Our headlines today. Refugee charities call on the government to stop using hotels to house asylum seekers as the number of migrants arriving on small boats rises to a new record.
After the Supreme Court rules that a woman is defined by biological sex, the equalities regulator says it's working at pace to update guidance.
Good morning. It's almost time for the Easter weekend getaway, but how is UK tourism faring? I've come to this camping and caravan site in the Lake District to see how much places like this have bounced back since the pandemic.
Our main story today, more than 100 refugee charities are calling on the government to stop using hotels to house asylum seekers.
There's been growing pressure on the asylum accommodation system as a record number of migrants crossed the Channel in small boats in the first quarter of this year. The King's Easter message this year will focus on love as an important virtue across different religions and something the world still needs. He will attend a Royal Maundy service alongside Queen Camilla at Durham Cathedral later. King Charles is also expected to give away specially minted coins to people who are recognised for their service in the community. The government has imposed a temporary ban on holidaymakers bringing in cheese and meat products from the European Union to try to prevent the spread of foot and mouth disease. Beef, sausages and cheese are just some of the products earmarked, and people could be fined up to £5,000 for bringing the items in. Let's take a look at the papers now. The news of 5 Supreme Court judges unanimously ruling that a woman is defined by biological sex under equalities law dominates the front pages. The Guardian says the judgment could have far-reaching ramifications and has prompted calls for the UK's laws on gender recognition to be rewritten.
Let's have a look at the Times. Reporting teachers will not be obliged to report all sexual relationships between underage teenagers to police after changes were made to a planned new law which aims to crack down on child abuse. A trade deal between the United States and UK could be finalised within 3 weeks. That is according to the Daily Telegraph.
The Eye is reporting that the Ministry of Defence is banning electric cars with Chinese parts from military sites across the UK. This amid concerns that they could be used to collect intelligence and send it back to Beijing. Bit of science for you this morning. This is in the Telegraph. Homo sapiens outlasted Neanderthals, OK? So we are them. And they'd coexisted until about 40,000 years ago when the Neanderthals became extinct. There is a theory now, there's a new study that's found that it's all down to sun protection. So around 41,000 years ago, this weird thing happened. The poles, the North and South poles, switched. Right, I never knew this had happened. It's called the Lachamps excursion, and it lasted about 1,000 years, and it meant that it weakened the Earth's magnetic field. And the Earth's magnetic field is what's needed to protect us from radiation and cosmic rays. Also, Neanderthals used to have tailored clothes and use ochre as body paint, which was their natural sunscreen.
Did they also have overhanging foreheads? Wasn't that their look, Neanderthals? What we really need is an astrophysicist here on the sofa to talk about that story, don't we? More astrophysicists, that's what we need. Now, the Mayor of Greater Manchester is calling for the government to introduce new laws to end what he described as a broken system of private hire taxi licensing. Andy Burnham said it was unacceptable that almost half operating in the region were licensed elsewhere. So the current regulations allow private hire taxi drivers to work across different areas, but they must only be licensed in one region. And this has prompted criticism as different authorities have different standards, which can in turn lead to various issues, including safety concerns, as well as unfair competition. While this practice is legal, it has opened up a debate about whether the current system is fair and fit for purpose.
Today at 1, the equality watchdog says public bodies like the NHS must now change their gender policies after yesterday's Supreme Court judgment. There will be new guidance for areas like changing rooms, hospital wards and prisons following the ruling that a woman is defined by biological sex. Also on the programme, as the number of migrants arriving on small boats reaches a new record, refugee charities call on the government to stop using hotels to house asylum seekers. Is there a price war looming at the supermarkets? Sainsbury's is the latest to warn of a battle for shoppers on the high street. And we take a trip to the lakes to look at how UK holiday hotspots have recovered 5 years on from the first COVID lockdown.
Some other news now, and a 20-year-old man has been charged with dangerous driving after 7 police officers were injured in a car chase on Tyneside. Mazyar Adzabonyad will appear at Newcastle Magistrates Court on Saturday over the collision on the northbound A1. He's also been charged with 2 counts of failing to stop, 2 counts of not having insurance and 2 counts of driving without a licence. And footage has emerged of watch thieves targeting undercover police officers in London. The officers were purposefully carrying luxury goods to catch thieves. 4 men were arrested after they tried to steal an expensive watch from one of the officers. 2 have been convicted of robbery. Freddie Flintoff's terrifying Top Gear crash seen for the first time in a new documentary.
I remember everything about it.
Freddie Flintoff has been in a crash.
It's so vivid. His injuries are life-altering.
The sloth who went under the knife to cure a toothache in a world first.
And I'll have the all-important Easter bank holiday weekend forecast. It's going to be a mixture of sunshine and showers.